Hey, I'm Dawn, and I'm gonna make you bake vegan like a pro. This is my very best and very secret chocolate cake recipe. Hello, my name is Dawn, and this is my new YouTube channel. This is my first video here, and I'm going to teach you today how to make my secret vegan chocolate cake. I never teach how to make this chocolate cake outside of my workshops or my online courses, but today I'm going to teach you this recipe, so it's not going to be so secret anymore, but I know that you're going to love it. This is going to be your go-to chocolate cake recipe forever. So we're not going to make only the chocolate cake itself. We're going to also make the cream that is going to be super chocolatey and very rich taste. And we're going to begin right now. It's going to be super quick. You're gonna love it. Let's go. So my recipes are very accurate on the gram, and this is because I'm usually making like very big recipes and then I'm splitting them just precisely to whatever I need. So if I want 1800 grams for those two, I'm going to make a recipe that is going to be exactly the amount I need, so I will not have to stay with leftovers. So first of all, we're going to cover a ring. I have here a foil and baking sheet that I cut to be like around the size of my ring. And I'm putting the foil down and the baking sheet on top of it, and then the ring. And then I'm going to make a fold, and then I'm pressing it against the ring, making another fold, just like wrapping a Christmas present. And in the end, I'm just making the last fold to cover the first one, and that's it, we have it. So I'm using my digital weight. So first, I'm going to put some all-purpose flour. We're going to need 470 grams of that. Now I'm going to put in my cocoa powder. I really recommend you to use a very good cocoa powder. Don't be cheap on that. We're going to need 63 grams. Well, I'm left-handed, so always sift your cocoa because it has like little crumbs. Great. Now I'm going to put in my baking powder and baking soda. They have very different purposes, so don't miss any one of them. So we're going to need 15 grams of baking powder. This is what's going to make our cake go up. This is 13, 14, 15, great. And a tiny bit, it's like 1.5 grams of baking soda. That's going to be enough. And now I'm going to add in the sugar, 470 grams. Don't forget to preheat your oven like me to 150 degrees Celsius. Now that I have all the dry ingredients, I'm going to stir it carefully, but very thoroughly. I want everything to be like combined very well. That's it. Now we're going to add in our oil and water. And in the end, I'm going to add some cider vinegar, which connects to the baking soda. And then it makes all the beautiful bubbles that we get with eggs and don't have them here. First of all, I'm going to add in my oil. I'm using sunflower oil. You can use whatever neutral oil that you have. So we're going to need 156 grams. And I'm going to add in some hot water, not boiling water, but hot. So 610 grams. Now I'm going to whisk it very well before I'm adding in the vinegar, because the vinegar is making the most amazing bubbles for the cake. And if I'm going to stir it too much after I'm adding in the cider vinegar, I'm going to burst all the bubbles and lose them. So first I'm going to stir it properly. See that I have no dry spots. That looks good. And now I'm going to add in my apple vinegar. You can use a regular citrus vinegar or a lemon, but they're going to give a different taste. The apple vinegar is like really neutral, so I love using it for the cakes. We're going to need 22 grams of that. That's very precise. Now I'm going to stir just a little bit for it to be combined, but not too much because I don't want to burst the bubbles. You can see that the mass became like more light in the color. This is because of the bubbles that are becoming inside. So I want both of my cakes to be the same. So I'm going to weight the entire thing. And this is how I'm going to see that I'm putting the same amount of chocolate cake in both of the rings. As you can see, I'm not oiling the rings. It's not needed. Just exactly when they are coming out of the oven, I'm going to put a knife around the cake inside the ring, and it's going to come out beautifully. I actually saw that when I'm putting oil, so the outside part of the cake is like more stiff. It has like a crust, and when I'm not putting the oil, I have like a very silky and soft cake. Also from the outside, there is like no crust at all. Awesome. So this is going to the oven on 150 degrees Celsius until it's ready. It's going to take around 45 to 60 minutes, but I'm going to put my eye on it. Let's go. So while my cakes are in the oven, I'm going to make the chocolate cream. The chocolate cream is super easy. It just takes a little while because it's going to be refrigerated, and every 10 minutes we're going to take it outside and like whisk it a little bit and put it back in the fridge. So I have here 640 grams of semi-sweet chocolate. The one I like the most is Lubecca. This is what I'm using. It's a Belgian chocolate, if I'm not wrong. And I'm going to add on it the exact same amount of coconut cream. I'm using 20% fat coconut cream at least. And it's better to be from a can and not from a box. I'm going to shake it really good. And I'm going to put the exact same amount, so it's going to be 640 grams. Now I'm going to put this in the microwave in 30 seconds pulses and stirring until it's going to be like silky smooth ganache. So it took around 4 laps of 30 seconds in the microwave, and look how creamy and beautiful that is. Now I'm going to put it in the fridge, and I really want to cool it down, but slowly, so it will keep being creamy and not like become super stiff, because I want to use it as a cream on the cake without whipping it at all. I know it sounds crazy, but wait and see, it's going to be amazing. So this one's going to the fridge, not the freezer, and I'm going to take it out every 10 minutes and stir it a bit and put it back in the fridge for another 10 minutes until I'm going to get a very creamy kind of texture that is very easy using like a frosting on the cake. Let's do it. So it's been 10 minutes. You can see that it got a little bit more crystallized, but I want the crystallization to be like very evenly spreaded around the ganache, and this is how it becomes a cream. So I'm stirring it like very good around the edges, not missing any spot, and I'm putting it back to the fridge for another 10 minutes. It's really important to mix it really good, because you see I have like little chunks here, and I don't want it because I want to smooth it out later on the cake like frosting. So I'm going to mix and stir really good, so the crystals and the chunks of the chocolate are going to spread out all around this ganache. Now I don't want it to cool down much more. I mean, if I had the cakes all laid in front of me ready to work with, I would have put it in the fridge for like another 5 minutes. But because I need around an hour more to wait for my cakes to cool down, I'm going to leave the ganache covered with a plastic wrap outside, and because I don't want it to get stiffer. And then when I'm going to take out my cakes, I will put it in the fridge for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to begin and work with it. I know that my cake is ready when I'm putting in a toothpick, and when I'm taking it out, it's completely clean. So I'm going to take the cake out and let it cool down a bit. So around 5 minutes after my cakes are out of the oven, I'm going to use a knife and go around the inside of my ring, just so I can take out the ring. Doing this while my cakes are still hot, not like exactly on the moment they came out of the oven, because you see I can hold the ring, but they are very hot still. After I went around with the knife very thoroughly, I can pull out the form. This way the cake is going to cool down faster, and the edges of the cake are going to be very soft and not crusty. Look how pretty it is. Super soft. And it didn't stick around a bit. Now I want you to remember this crust. It's pretty crusty. It's a very thin crust because I baked it in 150 degrees heat and not more. So the crust is very thin, but we do have one. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to cover the cakes with some plastic wrap, and then I'm going to put them in the freezer because I want to make them today. So if I do have some time, it's better to put them in the fridge and not in the freezer. So this part is really important about wrapping it in plastic. It's going to help us make the top part of the cake really silky and soft. In this way, I'm not going to have to get rid of any parts of the cake. I will not have to cut it out like the top of the cake. And I'm going to put it in the freezer because I want to start with the making in about an hour or so. Another great tip that I'm going to give you is to put it in the fridge on this side, and then the little dome that we have here is going to get flattened. Okay, so this has been waiting for me outside. Look how creamy that is. It's now winter here, so it's pretty cold around the house, like around 20-21 degrees maybe. So this is why the cream is so perfectly smooth and in the perfect stiffness that I wanted. And I can use it directly as a frosting on my cake. This is what I'm going to do right now. My cakes are out of the freezer. They've been there for about an hour and they're completely cooled down. So I can cut it up and fill it in and cover and decorate and everything. So let's do it. First of all, I'm going to need to cut it in two. I want to keep my nice nails, my pretty nails. So I'm going to put on some gloves. So I'm going to cut it in 2 layers. I'm putting a little bit of the cream of the ganache on the bottom, and then I'm going to take the upper layer and put it first because I want the end of the cake, like the top of the cake, to be straight. So I'm going to use this one. Now, as you can see, there is no crust anymore because I closed it up with the plastic wrap. So the crust took in all the moisture and now it's super soft. Now I'm going to put a nice amount of our ganache, and I will smooth it out on the cake. Look how amazing that is. And I will take the second layer, and I'm going to use it like flipped because I want the bottom part of the cake to be on the top of the cake because it's the most straight one. It's like the floor. I'm putting it as the ceiling. Okay, so this is it. Hard part is over. Now we're going to cover it up. The idea of this cake decorating is that it looks like super simple and clean, very classic. I don't want to do like too much decorations. This is someone's order. I actually had the same order, like the exact same order. At the same time, both of the customers were talking to me on my WhatsApp. That was super funny. I was sure that this is either a prank or two people from the same family that are not like communicating and ordering the same cake from me. But no, it's like two different people ordering the exact same cake on the exact same time for the exact same date. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to smooth out the edges. And what I love to do, let's see if it's all covered. So I love it that we can see the cake here a little bit. I just want it to be very straight because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I do like it to be like a little bit naked. I love it. Looks like a bit rough, very classic. So I'm going around twice more with my scraper. That's it. Now I will do the edges thing again. Now I love to do like a nice spiral on the top. So I'm beginning from the middle and going out pretty fast. That's it. We have the first one. So I'm going to use a CNB 854 tip. And look how beautifully it comes out. Oh my gosh. I'm going to decorate with some Lavro nutty chalk balls. So I cut them in half because the inside of them is so pretty. And I'm going to put a little more. How beautiful is this? I'm leaving some space in the middle because I need to write the name and like happy birthday. And now I'm just thinking, should I put some sprinkles on or should I not? Okay, that's it. Don't forget to hit subscribe and come follow me on my Instagram. And tap on the bell to get notifications, of course.